morning and welcome to Rising. Thank you all for tuning in. Well, the studio is not quite as bright today because Jessica is back at home rather than sitting next to me, but it's nice to see you anyway, Jessica.
It is good to see you as well. Yes, I've escaped the city of DC for the time being. And there's still construction happening near me, Robbie. There's a bridge being built thanks to the infrastructure bill. So hopefully we won't hear any of that. But thanks, Joe Biden.
Well, hopefully they build it and it stays functional and does not collapse. That would be very good because we hope you are able to come across it and return to DC sometime. Why don't you tell us what we're talking about today?
Yes, so we have CNN and Politico reporting that Trump may back out of this September 10th debate. The issue appears to be over what's known as hot mics. The Harris team wants the mics on throughout the debate, while Team Trump prefers a muted microphone. Trump's team said they had agreed to a debate under the exact terms of the CNN debate with Biden and Trump. But meanwhile, over $500 million is how much Kamala Harris's campaign has said it's raised since Harris launched her campaign last month. And of that $541 million total, to be exact, Team Harris announced Sunday that it raked in $82 million during the week of the Democratic National Convention. Per her team, this haul marks a record for any campaign in history for this time span. And also, the Trump campaign said the Republican nominee added $139 million in July, bringing its war chest to $327 million as of August 1st. While Trump seems to be lagging in the money race, latest polling shows he's fallen since Harris entered the race.
Well, many polls show Harris ahead. One Fairleigh Dickinson University survey published on Friday, Harris had a 7-point lead over Trump nationally there. The New York Times presidential election tracker shows she's leading nationally with 49% to Trump's 46%. Activote, which polled between August 15th and 23rd, shows Harris has a 5-point lead, and Angus Reid Global shows that she's edging Trump by 5 percentage points. It's important to note, however, Democratic pollsters are warning that the party should be wary. In 2016 polls, there was injected confidence that in the party that Hillary Clinton, of course, would beat Trump. Now we know who won that election. And in 2020, Biden beat Trump by a much slimmer margin than the polling suggested. So now pollsters are warning the Democrats not to repeat those same mistakes this election cycle. In Biden's 2020 pollster told Politico about the curveballs each election cycle, summing up, quote, "Something's going to happen in 2024. You and I right now don't know what that is." Yes, it's always important to remember that Biden was up like 7 points over Trump nationally at various points, and then his margin in the end, especially in the swing states, was this close. So even if she's up a little bit, and then of course Hillary Clinton was up a little bit and ended up losing. Now, what do you make of this debate news, Jessica? Because it sounds to me like, let me get this straight. The protocols for the CNN debate between Trump and Biden, I thought were perfect. I praised that debate. Everybody seems to think it was a great debate. It was better the candidates were not interrupting each other because their mics got cut. That was what Biden wanted for that debate, and actually it seemed like it worked out fine. Now Kamala Harris is saying she doesn't want that. She wants the mics on so that they can cut each other off. Maybe she hopes that Donald Trump talks over her or something and that turns people off. I think it should be the way it was last time because the way it was last time was perfect. No?
Yeah, Robbie, if the mics are off when one person's speaking, how can Kamala Harris get her signature line in "I'm speaking"?
Right.
It's just ridiculous. It's really, I don't think, necessary to have both mics on. No one wants to watch a debate where they're talking over each other and you can't make out what they're saying. The whole point is they're giving their policy plans for like the whole country, for the highest office in the federal government. We kind of want to hear what they're saying. And so if this is, the end all be all for the Harris campaign, I can't imagine it is for this debate, that they're going to die on this hill of having the mics on. But if it is, that's a bit ridiculous. And so they're going to negotiate the terms of the debate. I think the CNN debate went very well. We covered it. And despite Biden not being able to string a sentence together very well, it was a well put on debate. The questions were fair. They allowed each guy to answer for their records. There were some questions specific to their personal records while in office. Maybe we'll expect to see that again. But I think the mics being off when the other guy was speaking was what made it such a success, because it could have devolved into chaos.
Yeah, because I totally agree with that. The problem when the mics are on and they're both, if they both try to talk over each other, then the moderators have to get involved to cut one person off, and then that seems like the moderators are intervening when that's their job in that situation. The mics being off allowed, someone to make their statement, and then you got the rebuttal from the other person. We tested it. It was a really good debate. It revealed that Joe Biden was not at all up to the task of running for president again. And so now we have Kamala. She shouldn't be fearing it's exactly as you said. It sounds like they're trying to artificially construct the I am speaking moment or something. That seems just totally ridiculous. I think they should. I hope they work this out and they agree to debate. Now, of course, there was also some reporting that Donald Trump doesn't want to do a debate with ABC because he doesn't like. And I think an interview they did with Tom Cotton where they seemed very biased and very unfair. Again, CNN did a great job, and now there's a different. And I wouldn't say that if it weren't the case. We criticize CNN all the time, but Dana Bash and Jake Tapper did a good job. They should just do the debate with them again. Now that it's a different candidate in the mix, that would be fine with me. Or one with them and one with Fox, or one with them and ABC and Fox. And we've not had an opportunity ever for them to debate each other. It's a new candidate, so let's have 2 or 3 debates again.
Yeah, I think they see Trump preparing with Tulsi Gabbard. Who knows if she's preparing the same attack line she had against Harris for Donald Trump, but maybe changed a little bit so he's not hitting her from the left. Although I don't think he really cares about the political spectrum in any meaningful way. He just wants to hit back at his opponent. But I do think that maybe it's a strategy for the Harris campaign when he starts talking about her record or framing it as in some way untrue, which I wouldn't put it past him. He's done that before. They want to give her a chance to interrupt and just say, that's not true. And so letting him talk for a minute straight and having her own everything the Biden administration did, and maybe misframing some of their policy decisions or the impact of, their tax plan, for example. They don't want him to be able to explain something that's not true. There were a lot of lies he told in the first debate. And I can see a world where they want her to be able to say that's not true while he's saying it. So there's not these clips of him making these points in the debate. And then her speaking time is just point for point how what he's saying is not true. But it seems like Trump's not going to agree to that. So she's going to just have to practice that. She has $541 million. She can afford to spend some time in debate prep and pay some high-powered surrogates to go around on the trail for her, pay influencers to make the case on social media, which is something that I think is going to be a bigger part of this election. So many people don't answer the door when it's knocked. You got to meet people where they're at. People are online. I think this is going to be an election that's won in part based on the media they create in-house in the campaigns. And so interested to see how they'll spend their money. But debate prep is no doubt going to have to be a big part of it.
I mean, yeah, if Donald Trump says things that Kamala Harris thinks are inaccurate or untrue or lies, then during her time to speak, she can explain why those things were not true, and Donald Trump gets to do the same. I mean, if the mics are on, Donald Trump can interrupt her, and which I think sounds like that's what she wants. And you can have constructive debates under those circumstances. They've taken place before. When you and I argue, nobody mutes the other person's mic when the other person is speaking. I think you and I have more respect for each other than Kamala Harris and Donald Trump do. So you can have a debate under those circumstances. But we just had one that went pretty well with the mic muting, and if she can't, she can keep her thoughts straight and explain why she doesn't like why she thinks what he's saying is wrong. I don't know if this is like some lack of confidence she's projecting in her own debatability, because while she did do a very good job speaking, obviously at the convention, the concern with her is, when she has to think, when she's not just reading prepared remarks, she has to think on her feet. She has to take answers questions, even like slightly hostile questions from the media. Not that she's gotten any of those in a million years now. She says she doesn't sound the way Joe Biden sounded, but she kind of start saying those vague, circular things about the passage of time and the changing of change and that sort of thing. So I guess we'll see if any of that emerges. Really do hope they work something out. It would be certainly to America's detriment not to have any further debates. There's never been a debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, one of which will be the next president of the United States. More Rising right after this.